I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and you're full, you're stuffed, you're back from the holiday grind, you're back home, and you're thinking, it's dogfight time. We're right, my friends, it's back to dogfights, and I'm here with two awesome 4G devices. One, the HTC Rezound, and this is available from Verizon for $299.99, and it's got some awesome specs. 8 megapixel camera, a nice big HD 720p display, and of course Verizon's 4G LTE connectivity. Then you have the HTC Vivid over here, dual-core processor as well, an even bigger display, even though it's not HD. At 720p. Then you have a camera on the back. You have a camera. That's exciting. An 8 megapixel camera, a front-facing camera, and Android 2.3 on both of these bad boys. Which one's the winner in the dogfight, or which one's going to take home that gold medal? We'll find out, my friends. But first, some love to Best Buy Mobile. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get either of these devices, you're not going to deal with rebates. Isn't that great? You're not going to deal with paperwork, waiting for your rebate, those stupid debit cards that everybody hates, but they all continue to send them. Not at Best Buy Mobile. When you walk in that door, they'll help you without rebates. Enough of that, let's get into it. HTC Rezound, HTC Vivid. You guys ready? You ready for part two? You ready? Maybe I've had too much caffeine today, but here we go into part two. And I want to talk a little bit about the body and just a few more of the customizations before we move on. First of all, you'll see some stark differences here. This one's just a little bit thicker, although I will say compared to the current, excuse me, the first crop of LTE handsets like the Thunderbolt, the Droid Charge, the Revolution, these are much thinner devices than ever before. So you can see volume rocker over here, no physical camera button. You do get a micro USB charging port over here, and then up top you get your 3.5mm headphone jack with a power button. So you can't beat that. Same kind of setup over here, although you do get a nice metal battery door. So for somebody that kind of wants that durability or kind of wants a better feeling device, well, you're presented with three different LTE options on AT&T right now. You've got this bad boy, you have the Skyrocket, and then you have the LG Nitro HD, all of the other two of which are kind of plasticky, but you get the metal battery door here, which is nice. So same kind of setup, 3.5mm headphone jack up top, power button, volume rocker over here, still no physical camera button, but you do get the camera on the back and then your micro USB charging port over here on the side. So just to show you customizations real quick, because there aren't a whole lot of differences between these two devices. You have 7 home screens on both, and they rotate around in that same carousel format. Now when you press and hold, like I said, that personalization menu is just a little bit different from device to device, but you can see here, we'll go into widgets actually specifically, so you can see some of HTC's widgets here rather, out of the box. And so you can see you got two different options for calendar, for example. You have HTC and you have Android. So you get the stock Android widgets, but you also get some HTC choices as well. You got this over here, the month one, you got the agenda widget view, and then you got the daily widget view as well, or kind of the abbreviated view, if you will. Now the downside to HTC, you cannot customize your widgets. So if you're out of screen space, you're in an area like this where there's not a whole lot of screen space, or maybe an area like this where there's not as much, or perhaps a screen real estate area like this. With Motoroller's custom UI, rather, with Samsung's TouchWiz 4.0, you can customize, and then actually with stock ice cream sandwich as well, you can customize some of the sizes of the widgets, which are really nice. It's a nice touch for when your home screens are full. But same effect here, pinch in and get your look there as well. So let's go to browser and take a look at this. So internet over here, and then you can see internet here as well. And we'll go ahead and take a look. Now again, this is on Wi-Fi, so don't take a look too much, or don't look into this too much in terms of internet speed itself. But we're going to go to PhoneDog.com on both of these devices, and we'll see here. PhoneDog, where is PhoneDog? I know I've done it on this one at least once. PhoneDog.com. And we'll load that up. So you can see it's loading up over here. Verizon's 4G LTE working fine at the moment. Verizon's 4G LTE has had several outages since they commercially launched it across several different markets in the U.S., but still, no issues at the moment in the Charlotte metro area at this time. So you can see your pinch to zoom, very responsive, but you can see some differences between, again, 3.5 and 3.0, for example. The back button up here and the refresh button also have text below the actual icons themselves, but you still get the similar effect over here when it comes to opening windows, and you can see it gives you a nice preview of where you left off. So pinch to zoom, relatively responsive. I'm really not seeing any difference between the processor speeds here, because again, if you're just tuning in, this one has a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor. This has a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon processor. So you can see pinch to zoom, relatively responsive on both of these devices with little to no lag. And you can see again, there is a stark difference. Bigger display on the HTC Vivid. What I will say, got a big display, which is really nice for media over here, but even though this one's a little bit smaller, this HD display is just incredible. I mean, incredible looking. And then of course, on both of these devices, you can pick up right where you left off, and then come over here to another window, for example, and then when you're done with it, you can go right back to Phone Dog, which is a nice touch. You've got both of these are pretty decent in the web browsing department. I'd have to declare that kind of a tie. Where it's going to be close as well is in the camera department, because both of these have 8 megapixel cameras with 1080p HD video recording, and they both say, they're pretty good. HTC says both of these are pretty good in the camera department. So you can see here effects and gallery shortcuts there, and then you can see some slight differences to the way the editing screens look here, at least the options on the side. You've got mode where you can switch the camera around from front to main, from photo to video, scenes, settings over here. Or you can go down and check the, change white balance, change ISO, resolution, and more. You get that over here as well. It's a little bit more confusing on this one because you do have to use the menu button and, of course, the settings. It's a little bit of an older menu interface, but you do get the same options over here. We can flip the camera around. We can switch from camera to video camera as well. Look at that guy. He seems like a pretty nice guy. But we can take a picture. Actually, we're going to use the opposite device for the picture. So I'm going to come in here on the Verizon. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not a good idea. Let's do the Galaxy Nexus. How about that? Bring that in here. Some competition. And we'll bring it in, wait for it to focus in. You do not get a physical camera button, but it does have autofocus, of course, and you can press and hold the button to focus and let go to take the picture. So there's that one, and we're going to do a similar picture. And of course, these are all unofficial tests since we don't really have time to show it on a big screen or kind of change these or export these out to email. But you can see here again, we'll go into the gallery here and take a look at both of these. So there's no real winner here. And I have to declare this a tie as well, because you can see, even when zoomed in, you can easily see the texture. You can see Verizon 4G LTE, and same kind of thing over here as well. Both of these are very clear and easy to use. And it looks like the battery's getting ready to get low on this one, so we need to run through the review as quickly as possible. I guess we could always plug it in, but yeah, hey, we'll go through the review as quickly as we can. So there's that, and of course, Android Market as well. Some changes to Android Market you can see over here. Apps, music, books, and movies, all in one convenient spot on both of these devices. So you can come in here to Google Music, download music, and use Google Music, kind of like iTunes, at least that ecosystem. I think that's what they're trying to replicate on the Google side. You can use Google Music, you've got books, you've got movies, you can rent movies. You can see down here 99-cent movies. We can watch these if we want to. And we can come over here, and I'm going to try to override these brightness settings, get it to turn up a little bit. That's going to suck the juice out of the battery, but still. Come over here to display. We're going to try to do this. Yeah, we're going to do that again. I know it's going to kill the battery pretty quickly, but I think we can do it. I think we can make it through relatively quickly. So again, Android Market over here, portrait to landscape transitions, very quick, very easy. And then we can go back into apps, for example, and take a look. And we'll go over here to top paid and top free. So you can see some changes to the Android Market. It's intended now to be kind of a one-stop shop. We'll go to Netflix, for example, and you can see the screenshots, the descriptions, what's new, the reviews with a nice average button, or average box rather, up there that shows the current score. And then I can install by just clicking that, and it's that quick and easy. So you've got this over here as well, and then low battery. And again, any text message, any missed call you get by default will pop up on both of these displays in Sense 3.0 and 3.5 just like that. So that's kind of nice on one hand. On the other hand, if you don't want your text messages to be broadcasted when somebody turns on your phone, you can turn that off as well. So that's a feature you can get rid of if you so desire. Let's do a quadrant standard test on both of these. Again, obviously this isn't indicative of day-to-day performance, but we can take a look and kind of get an idea as to which one is faster, because both are running Sense, so this is going to be kind of a tight test between these two, and I'm pretty interested to see which one comes out on top. Now what I will tell you, call quality, pretty decent on both of these devices. I really didn't notice any difference between the Vivid and the Rezound. I mean, it was mostly network performance. I mean, Verizon and AT&T had their dead spots in the Charlotte metro area, and when I took them to their respective dead spots, the calls were still pretty decent, despite the fact that they were chopping kind of hard to hear at times. But still, decent earpiece quality. Speakerphone's nice and loud on both of these devices, and I think it's really going to boil down to A, which carrier you're on, and B, if you like HTC's build quality. Because you look at HTC, Samsung, LG, and all of these big Android manufacturers, they all kind of have their distinctive design preference. You can see here, I mean, even though metal battery door on the Vivid, you can still kind of see a similarity here between the design. So that's something to keep in mind. If you like Samsung, well, you like Samsung. Maybe you don't like HTC, but I think at least in terms of call quality and overall phone performance, there's no real difference between either one of these devices. So 2,279 over on the Rezound, 2,006 over on the Vivid. So very, very close. It does go by a little edge to the HTC Rezound on Verizon, but still relatively close. And I can't do a speed test on the AT&T one. Actually, let's see if I can kick it off Wi-Fi and get it to do an HSPA Plus test, just so you can get an idea of kind of network performances. Now keep in mind, AT&T is having some issues in my office. They've identified that this is a little bit of a pocket area, or they're having some issues with the LTE potentially in the Charlotte area. So that's why you may see it go between LTE and HSPA Plus on the AT&T side. But then over here you got a Verizon's 4G LTE, and of course it does use 3G in areas where 4G LTE isn't available yet. Though those markets are expanding pretty quickly. Let's take a look at speed test on this as well. We'll load up over here, speed test, and then we'll go over here. I agree. We're going to begin the test. We're going to make sure we're using the same server, Shelby. That works. And we'll hit begin test over here, and we'll take a look, kind of get an idea. So again, HSPA Plus over here, keep that in mind. And then you have LTE running over here. Although this is an LTE market, just having some challenges with the network right now. No big deal. Just keep that in mind. So you can see here, again, HSPA Plus still running a nice respectable 2.5 megabits per second, whereas with LTE you get about 24.19 megabits per second. Though it's important to note, there is a Verizon repeater, or Verizon cell site rather, right near my office. So I'm getting almost line of sight coverage out my window. So that's something to keep in mind. I have seen average speeds on both of these LTE devices when they're both connected to LTE range anywhere from about 5 to about 12 megabits per second. That's average for both networks. That's something to keep in mind as well. So both are pretty decent on the LTE side, although like I said, there are some minor challenges that are going on with this one as well. So both of these are great devices. I think you could be happy with either one of these. And I know I say that a lot in the dogfights, but honestly, all these devices are so high-end, it's really going to depend on what you want. If you want the Beats integration, you want a free pair of iBeats, so $99 value earbud in your package, go with the HTC Rezound. If you're looking for a bigger display, the HD quality of this display really doesn't appeal to you. You want AT&T's 4G LTE, and you like the build quality of this one, at least in terms of the battery door and the way it feels, take a look at the HTC Vivid. In terms of battery life, both are about the same. I mean, Verizon's LTE, I feel like, is a little bit more of a power hog, but you got the bigger display over here. With moderate use, I struggle to make it through the day with both of these devices. With texting, calling, emailing, those things, you're going to struggle to make it through the day. That said, both of these have removable batteries, easy to charge, and of course they're micro USB charging ports. So it's pretty easy. I mean, carry a spare charger, carry a spare battery with either one of these devices. It's not really, can't really nick either one of these for having less battery life or poorer battery life than one of the others. But so that's kind of a tie there as well. But by a narrow margin, the dogfight goes to the HTC Rezound for a couple of reasons. One, it does perform ever so slightly faster. It does have a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor. And I realize that oftentimes clock speed doesn't matter. It depends really on the processor architecture. But this one does run a little bit faster, and of course quadrant standard scores were just ever so slightly higher. Also, killer HD display over here, 720p. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and you really see it when you come in here and take a look at text and things like that. I mean, again, camera doesn't do it justice, but it's absolutely beautiful on text and on pictures. Still over here, bigger display, great for media and great for viewing content like that, YouTube videos, but the HD quality over here is impeccable. And of course you get the Beats connectivity over here as well. So you get those Beats earbuds in the box, $99 value. It's a pretty good deal. So by a narrow margin, it goes to the HTC Rezound. Much more coverage to come on both of these devices. Let me know what you think by hitting me up on Facebook on the PhoneDog page at facebook.com/PhoneDog. Hit me up on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on my personal Facebook page, facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear which one of these you bought, or which one you like, or which one you're thinking about buying with your Christmas money or your Hanukkah money. Let me know at any one of those social media mediums. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. That was good timing because that thing just powered off. So I'm going to go ahead and power this one down as well because it's time for them to go to bed. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.